Hey everyone, Kathy here. Welcome to my channel, Yoga by Kathy. In today's class, we're focusing on our low back and our hips. So some of the most common requests I get in class are, how do I open up my hips? How do I stretch my legs? How do I stretch out and relieve low back pain and tension? So today's class is going to be just about these two areas of our body, our low backs and our hips. For this class, we're going to need a few props, a block or two, and a strap. So gather your props and make your way to your mat, and I will see you very shortly. And remember, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the section below letting me know what worked for you or what you'd like to see in the future. Remember to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive weekly yoga videos. Let's get started. Let's begin by coming down onto our mats and making our way onto our backs into a supine position. So taking a moment to set up here, allowing your knees to fall inwards towards the center. So this will allow us to keep our low back flat against the ground. If you find that you're still having some space between your back and the floor, you can always take a towel or roll up a t-shirt underneath and provide a little bit more support and padding underneath the spine. Getting your arms out to the side, palms facing up. Taking a moment to close the eyes and allow the body to relax. Breathing in and out through the nose. Finding stillness and softness in the body with every exhalation. As you breathe in, begin to draw out the breath, taking a bit more air at the top of the inhalation. And as you exhale, shoulders relaxing, feeling your spine pressing down, flat against the floor, maintaining length throughout the spine. Once you've found your breath rhythm, breath pattern, let's take 3 full deep breaths. Using these next 3 breaths to establish the pace of breath for your practice today. Maybe also setting an intention for yourself. And on the next breath in, pulling the right knee in towards our chest, keeping the left foot in a bent position, or we extend the toes, pointing the toes forward. Interlace the fingers around the shin, take an inhale, pull the right knee towards the right shoulder. As we exhale, we're going to find a slight compression, pull the knee down towards the floor, hugging it in towards the chest. And again, at the same time, continue to find neutral spine, pressing the low and mid back towards the floor. Breathing here, 3 deep breaths. On the inhale, release the grip a little bit, allowing the knee to travel up towards the shoulder. And as you exhale, hug and compress. Inhale, find gentle release. Right knee to right shoulder. Exhale, hug it in. Last time. And we'll slowly release, catching the outside of your right foot for half happy baby. So go ahead and grab for either the big toe or the edge of the right foot. We're going to keep the knee bent, flex the ankle so the sole of the foot is pointing upwards. Opposite hand, so left hand comes out for support. On the inhale, we're going to open up the hips. On the exhale, crossing it all the way to the other side. Inhale, open up the hip. Exhale, taking it across over to the left. Gently opening up through the hip joint, increasing mobility through the hip socket. Gently rocking the hips side to side, moving with your breath. And let's do 3 more on this side. And try to gently roll back and forth across the sacrum, bringing a slight and gentle massage towards the low back. And let's release. Bring that right foot down onto the floor. Bring your hips back to neutral and we'll switch sides. left knee in towards the chest, interlace the fingers around the left shin. So bottom leg can stay extended or you can bend the knee, whatever feels good for your hip flexors. Now let's go ahead and take an inhale, left knee towards left shoulder. Exhale, hug the leg in and down towards the body. On the inhale, we release. Gently guide the knee towards the left shoulder. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale, release. Gentle pull, and exhale, hug and compress. Now let's do one more here. And let's release the grip, catching hold of your big toe or the arches of the foot. Let's prepare for happy baby or half happy baby. Ankle is flexed, sole of the foot pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to open up the hip, allow the knee to come outside of the rib cage. Right hand comes down to the floor for support. Breathing in, open the hips. Exhale, we take it across the midline of the body over to the right side. Inhale, open up through the left. Exhale, bring it across. And begin to move with the breath, enjoying the slow rock and roll in the low back, in the spine. Noticing how our hips are feeling, how our hip socket is behaving. Now let's do one more. And returning back, both feet down onto the ground. We're going to hug the knees in towards the chest, reach the arms around, hands on the shins. Give yourself a gentle rock. So we're going to take our knees in a circular motion, so pulling it in, rocking side to side, tracing a clockwise motion, massaging out the low back. So a lot of times when we experience low back pain is because we've either been standing for a prolonged period of time or sitting for a long period of time, leading to an increased pressure buildup in the lumbar spine. Let's go ahead and switch directions, going counterclockwise. So a lot of the postures that we're exploring today will focus on neutralizing the spine, keeping our spine flat, either in a supine position like we are doing here, or in a forward folding position where we're increasing spinal flexion to increase space between the vertebrae. Now coming back into center, let's take our hips over towards the left, stacking the knees, come into a spinal twist, turning over, dropping the knees to the right. We're going to take our gaze over towards the left side. Option to extend this top leg, kicking it forwards, pointing the foot, holding onto the leg. You can also place a block underneath the ankle if you need a bit of additional support. Gently turning the head, looking over towards the left side. Breathing in, finding length of the spine. And exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Dropping that top shoulder blades down towards the floor. Wringing out the back from the base of the spine all the way down to the coccyx of the spine. And slowly release, bring the head back into center. And we'll switch sides, taking the hips. We'll pivot over towards the right, stack the knees, and dropping them over to the left. Arms come out for balance. We're going to roll our head, taking the gaze over the right shoulder. Option to extend this top knee, point the foot out. Taking a breath or two to prepare, gently ease the body into a twist, encouraging the shoulder blade, so the right shoulder blade to come down a little bit closer towards the floor with every exhalation. Now we'll go ahead and find our breath pattern here, taking 3 deep breaths. Slowly return the head back into center, bring the knees in, shift the hips back into neutral, and we'll turn over towards the right side, come into a fetal position. Stacking the knees, we're going to rest our head on our arms, pull the knees in towards the chest, so hugging yourself into a tight little ball, squeeze tight as you can, rounding through the back. Taking 3 breaths here, filling up your lungs with every inhale, breathing into the space between your shoulder blades. Last breath. And let's take an inhale, give yourself a push. And let's make our way up into a seated position. Coming forward onto hands and knees. Let's go ahead and set up for some cat and cow. So shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. On the next inhale, we're going to drop our bellies. Allow the belly to sink down towards the floor. Taking the gaze up, looking forwards, arching the back. Exhale, begin to press down to your hands, chin towards your chest. Inhale, dropping the belly into cow pose. Exhale, chin to chest. Tailbone under, gaze towards belly button. Cat. Inhale into cow, spine arches, gaze looking forwards. Exhale into cat, spreading the shoulder blades. 3 more rounds, moving with your breath. This one. Coming back into a neutral spine, the end of your next breath. Take our right foot, inhale, kick back. On the exhale, take that foot all the way to the outside of your right hand. We're going to press down, curl the back toes, lift the back knee, staying on your hands. And here you can reach for your block, placing it down, resting your hands on top of a block to lift the floor. We're just going to start with some rocking motions forwards and back. So on the inhale, we're going to push forward onto our toes. Exhale, push back. Try to keep your hips low. If you find that your hips are really high, you want to use your blocks and elevate the floor towards you. So we're going to gently open up our hip flexors, shifting forwards and back a few times, preparing for dragon pose. And let's lower the back knee down onto the ground. Left hand onto the floor or onto your blocks. Our right foot is going to pivot out to the sides. Your toes are going to be turned out, heel is pointing in. Now if it feels comfortable, go ahead and open that knee. Allow yourself to roll to the outer edges of that right foot. See how this feels. Maybe take your hand, place it to the inside of the thigh and gently press, allowing the knees to bounce in and out nice and slowly. So be kind to your body. Don't over exaggerate the posture. Move within your range of motion. And let's come down to the floor or onto your blocks, taking 3 to 5 deep breaths in our dragon pose. So allow that knee to drop out to the side. Dropping the head, dropping the chest. And slowly inhale, coming back up. Let's close up the knee, bring that foot back towards the center. We're going to take an inhale, keeping the left hand on the ground. Open up, finding an easy twist, reaching the right arm up. On the exhale, we're going to continue to turn, point the hand back, reaching towards the back edge of your mat. Staying here, continue to actively reach out through your fingertips, or we bend the back knee. See if it's feasible to grab onto the toes. If you're not quite there yet, take your strap, loop it around the arch of the foot. So if I have a strap, I'm going to loop that around the arches of my foot or the back of my foot and slowly draw that foot in. Using the strap, you can give yourself as much or as little slack as you need until you feel a stretch in your quadriceps. So we're going to stay here holding onto your strap or the back of the foot or your toes. Another breath here. And we'll release nice and slowly, releasing the strap. And we'll step that right foot back and switch sides. So take an inhale, left toes points back. Big step forward, take that foot to the outside of the left hand. So we're going to come up onto our hands or onto our blocks. Start to shift forward and back. Onto our back toes. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, press back. Doing this a few times, rocking forwards and back, trying to release and breathe into your right hip flexors. And let's slowly release, bring that foot down onto the ground. Now, if you feel comfortable here, you can keep your foot on the ground. Otherwise, we're going to pivot, allowing our heel to point in, toes pointing out, and dropping that knee open to the side. And bounce a few more times here. Gently press down, open the hips. And we'll slowly close that foot up. Bring the hands down onto the floor, now making your way into a comfortable version of dragon pose. So if you like to keep the knee open, go ahead and stay there. Otherwise, we're going to keep our foot on the ground, coming down into a comfortable position. So you might make your way down onto the floor or use a block to raise the floor up towards you. So remember, you want to be comfortable here, and a good gauge is to notice your breath. So finding that pattern of breathing that we established at the start of practice. Try to maintain that breath for 3 full cycles. And we'll slowly release. Inhale, look up, walk yourself up onto your hands, remove the blocks, gently close the knee up, bring it back into center. We're going to place our right hand down onto the floor. Inhale, left arm up, easy twist. Rotating from the torso, reaching the top hand up. And on the exhale, we're going to point the fingers back towards the back edge of the mat. Actively stretch out, extend through the elbows, reach through the fingers. Now from here, we can either reach for our strap, looping it around the tops of the foot, and start to bend that knee, pull the foot in. You can use your strap, or if you can reach for your toes, go ahead and find that bind. On the exhale, slowly draw the heel in towards the sit bones. One more breath. And exhale, let's gently release. Stepping it back. We'll take a wide-legged child's pose, big toes together, knees out to the side. Push the hips back towards your heels. Now, I would rather you keep your hips back as low as you can, rather than coming forward and dumping your weight into your hands. So if you find that you're a little bit far away from the floor, grab a block or a bolster, place it underneath your chest, sinking the hips back, and then resting your torso over that block. Finding a bit of a spinal decompression here in wide-legged child's pose. Sending your breath all the way down to the sacrum, to the low back. Last breath. And we'll slowly release. Inhale, look forward, rocking up onto your hands, remove the block. We're going to turn to the long edge of our mats. So if you're on a hardwood floor, you can go ahead and roll your mat over a few times to create a little bit more padding underneath the knees. We're going to take frog pose. So from our frog pose, we're going to start on our hands and knees, similar to a tabletop position. Our feet are going to come out wide. We're going to use our hands to lock the knees as far apart as it is comfortable. Now, something to remember, we need to make sure our joints are aligned. So our knee is directly over our ankles. Our feet are flexed, pointing towards either end of the mat. It's important to keep your legs engaged. You can come down onto forearms, or you can use a block. So bring that block with you if you like. Again, moving down into a comfortable position. And we're just going to gently rock forwards and back. Inhale, rocking forward a few inches. Exhale, pulling the sit bones back. So experiment with the movement, gently pressing forward and exhaling, pulling back. We're going to hold this position in center, so not overreaching, keeping your hips in line with your knees. We're going to hold this posture here for 3 deep breaths. And slowly return, coming up onto your hands, coming off the block. To come out of this posture, we're going to shift ourselves forward and slowly bring the feet in together and sit the hips back, like in child's pose. And release, we'll swing the legs forward, come take a seat, feet extending towards the top edge of our mats. Grab for your strap, looping it around the arches of your feet. Let's prepare for a seated forward fold. So taking a deep inhale, holding onto your strap. On the exhale, bend the elbows, draw the chest forward, finding a nice long spine, intending the crown of the head towards our toes. Now if you can already reach for your toes, we're going to take a block, place it to the front of our feet. So again, you have different levels to play with here on the block, so find a challenging side that will give you a nice stretch for the back of the legs. So again, we're thinking about lengthening the spine, drawing the head forward. When you can't reach forward anymore, we can start to relax the chest, relax the head. Taking 3 deep breaths. Slowly at the end of your next exhale, let's lift the chest. Slowly release the straps, release the blocks, and let's make our way back down onto our backs. And once we're down on our backs in a supine position, we're going to reach for our blocks. Take an inhale to lift the hips, slide the block flat side on the ground underneath the sacrum, so that flat piece of bone right above the tailbone. Arms extend out for balance, pull the knees in one at a time, finding your balance. And you can stay here with the knees pulled in towards your chest and enjoy this passive, relaxing shoulder stand. Or you can start to kick the feet up, extending through your knees. Just allow the legs to be soft and still. No need to engage the quads or the hamstrings or any part of the lower bodies. Soft bend through the knees. Take a few deep breaths in this passive inversion. Allowing the block to support the weight of your hips and the legs. Taking 3 more breaths. Slowly, one at a time, bring the knees in. Feet lowers down slowly towards the ground. Let's take inhale, press the lift the hips and slide the block out from under, flowing down 1 vertebrae at a time, back down onto the ground. Knees fall in towards the center, arms beside the bodies, palms facing up. Gently close your eyes here. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and deep exhale through the mouth. Allowing your body to come into stillness, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the hips. Feel the entire length of the spine, gently resting down, supporting by your mat. Thank you so much for joining me in a short practice. I hope you found some useful tips and postures that you can use to help relieve lower back pain and give your hips a little bit of added love with those hip opener stretches. My name is Kathy. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and hit that subscribe button to receive more videos just like this every week. Thank you so much for joining in. Namaste.